Okay, I think it's streaming. Hello!
Hello.
I was talking to our audience, not you.
I was also talking. I looked at the camera and everything.
I was just kidding. Okay, oh dang. You did better than I did. Hi. Welcome to Poetry Night Thursdays. Thursday singular. This is just one Thursday of many. I left my poetry book in my bag. I'm gonna go fetch it. But in the meantime, maybe you can describe the topic of the week.
The topic is bees. Honeybees.
Really? I thought you just said...
Well, be all kinds of bees, I suppose.
Well, the poems I wrote were about honeybees, so it's okay. Okay. Let's see. Should we do new and then old, or old and then new? Oh, actually, for mine, I think I have to do the old one first because I screwed it up. And
Well, since my old one is somebody else's, and by way of explanation, maybe I should start with that.
Okay.
All right, so I've been thinking about bees a lot lately, and that is mostly because of someone called Alex Gunther, who wrote a sonnet sequence called Sonnets from the Dhammapada recently. He just self-published it. And one of them is about bees. It's a little metaphor that he borrowed from the Dhammapada about how when the sage enters a village, much like a bee, he takes away the nectar but doesn't harm any of the flowers. All right, the gathering. As honeybees, along their daily flights, to glean and make a beeline for the hive, do no one harm. In fact, they keep alive rare species whose own pollination might be insufficient in the endless fight to propagate. The bee-brushed blossoms thrive, their fragrance unmolested, in spite of what the bees claimed as their right. Just as these bees, I aim to do no harm when gathering what others have to share, distilling the impressions I consume in chambered thought, their recollected charms pervasive as the altering of air by subtle and ubiquitous perfumes. Yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot lately, that extended metaphor of being like a bee.
In society.
Yeah. I think I've been thinking of whether or not I should have bees at my house. I think it's kind of nice to think that there's a way of taking their honey, but being like the bee, taking the nectar and not harming them.
Whoa,
beeception. Comforting.
Huh.
So what's your old one?
Sorry, I just thought you were going to go down such a rabbit hole about how we can model human society off of bee society. And so I was reading the Wikipedia article about bees and their genetics and all that stuff. And I was just thinking wow, they have a perfect society where it's just they don't require any kind of enforced government. And everyone is just part of this beautiful machine. And they all cooperate, and it's just socialism, communism, kind of at its in its highest form. But the other thing to take into account is that there is the genetic component that makes it so that everyone in the hive is just a offspring of the queen. So it's just one big happy family, and we can't really have that. We can't have that perfect Brave New World situation where there's just genetic variation, but also happiness for everyone. I mean, I don't know if you can call it happiness, but non-competitive nature.
Well, they're pretty brutal toward other bees. They will go in and rob out another hive and starve them to death.
Okay, sure, but as countries would go to war with other nations.
Yeah.
But within the hive itself, we're talking okay, I'll be honest, I don't know how many bees are in a hive, but hundreds or thousands. Those are all people...
Tens of thousands, yeah.
Tens of thousands. Those are all people who are getting along with each other just fine. And they're selfless. The drones will just go, oh, it's winter. okay, I can't be using up the hive's resources. I'm gonna go like die somewhere.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
that's
it's
so altruistic, you know.
you got to be careful because like people try to make this political analogy. Like there's Kropotkin has his book called Mutual Aid: A Factor of Evolution. He's like, oh, all the socialists, the social Darwinists and the capitalists, they're all wrong because look at there's all this mutual aid in nature. But it's like okay, yeah, the meerkats are nice to like the meerkats they're related to, but
Right.
they're competing for the same food as
Right.
other random meerkats on the other side of whatever. So yeah.
So the answer is we should have something like Brave New World where we just have like a small breeding stock and actually everyone is pretty much a clone of everyone else and then we're all friends because kind of like was it Sixth Day where Arnold Schwarzenegger is like actually no never mind the movie is messed up but in the novel in the Philip K. Dick original version the original character and the clone version are just like, hey, we're logically equivalent, so it's kind of a coin flip who makes it. And I think that's proper. And I think that might be how it would work if everyone, let's assume that it's like a whole nation of beings. If everyone were just genetically identical and if the purpose is to just propagate the genes, then it really doesn't make a whole lot of difference who survives into the next generation or not. No?
I'm not on board with this. Like I say, the bees are genetically similar to each other, but they live in the context where there's a whole lot of beehive. Like there's a lot of sexual selection and genetic interaction with the larger bee population. So I think that is also fundamental to their success.
Selection, wait, if you're talking about like their mating rituals, there's not a whole lot of sexual selection. There's a lot of luck, but if you're talking about like robustness, like which hives will be able to like winter, or which hives are more resistant to like colony collapse disorder or something, then yeah.
You need a big gene pool. A lot of drones have sex with every queen. They got a lot of genes to work with. That's important. And we're
oh my god,
we're
like
traveling off topic.
Not poetry. Okay, so I have 3 poems to share today. One of them is really crappy because I was trying to write outside of my comfort zone and it shows. And then the other one's an old one, and then the third one is a new one, and it's good, I think. So,
okay.
I'll do them chronologically. This one's the old one first. So, a long, long time ago in college, I wrote 2 haikus that belong together, and I like illustrated it kind of, and I submitted it for publication, and it was accepted. Let me go find it. This is my dorky art binder where I just like have a lot of elementary art. Don't look at it. Oh my god. Okay, I found it. So this is a little weird. So question: do you know are the female bees or the male bees stingless?
I think the drones are stingless, but I only know that from a Greek philosopher, and they were notoriously wrong about all kinds of shit. So.
Oh no, they were right about that.
Okay.
So this isn't actually wrong. It's so I was trying to write. I guess I'll just present it and then we can talk about it later. Okay, so this is called 2 haikus. Oh wait, huh? I mean, it's technically a document camera, so maybe it can be just visible. Ooh, look, it auto-focused.
Not bad.
All right, 2 haikus. Eric, you read it.
The samurai lives to serve his king without rest. He is just a drone. The honeybee gives her life to protect the nest. She will die alone.
All right.
Wow.
So it's a set of rhyming haikus. I mean, duh. I don't think they're very good as freestanding haikus. But I think it does have a lot of, it's not just the rhymes. There is that whole, so the samurai lives and the honeybee gives. Those are just establishing a subject and a verb. To serve his king without rest and her life to protect the nest. Okay, there's like a little bit of weird like parts of speech jumblement in there, but that describes their function, and then the last line is saying like how dispensable their lives are. So it's an attempt to rhyme on a thematic level as well as what do you call it? Like it's a phonetic level or something like that.
I don't know, formal maybe?
In form. Okay, well anyway, so that was from 2011. You can see there's a date down there. It's my college days. There's a suicide sword here and the bumblebee. How appropriate. Okay, that's it. I don't know why. Whoa, there are roses and grapes. Roses, grapes. And thorns. I don't know why I did that, but I think I probably just felt it was pretty at the time.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That was that. That was the old poem. All right. And then I have a new poem, but it's like really crappy. I guess I'll present it now. It's on my iPad. It wasn't worthy of being in a notebook. I wrote it on my iPad. Oh my god. Okay, it's okay. I have no shame. Let me delete all the scratch paper, and then I'm gonna have you read it and see if you can figure out what the heck I did.
Because just to remind everyone, we do not get advance notice of the poems. So.
No, we picked a topic on like Tuesday. Ooh, there's a lot of unused rhymes in here. There are many. Okay, so let me give a tiny bit of background. 2 nights ago, let's see, what was it 2 nights ago? Yeah, it was Tuesday when we picked, was it Tuesday or Monday? I don't know, one of those days. We picked bees to be the theme, and I was like, oh, I better go like research about bees so that I know what to write about. And I spent 2 whole nights on Wikipedia just learning about bee facts. And there's a lot of interesting stuff on there. And one of the things that I kind of fixated on was the reproductive, like the whole, I don't think you can call it a courtship ritual. There's no courting. There's just a lot of mating. So anyway, I guess, let's see. What do I need to say to explain what the heck is going on? Okay, so the basic mating ritual, actually, do you know the basic mating ritual?
I believe they have
better than I can.
Sex in midair, is that correct?
Yes, 10 to 40 meters above ground, according to Wikipedia.
Wow.
That's
pretty high up.
That's pretty high. They get really high, and then they mate. Okay, so it's something like the Virgin Queen. So, okay, that sounds like something really holy, but it's actually just a female who is diploid. So has 2 copies of chromosomes, but they're from different like parents. Okay, anyway, the Virgin Queen, being a queen who has not mated with males before, just flies into like the mating grounds, and then this is where all the drones, being the males gather there for a chance to mate with a queen. And according to Wikipedia, a queen mates with 5 to 19 drones. Mm-hmm. I don't know where to get the 19 number. I mean, I think they would just round up to 20 because, okay, it's probably been like recorded that the maximum number seen in science was 19. Anyway, but the drones will go and identify the Virgin Queen and then mount her, and then the next thing is, and this is 10 to 40 meters up in the air, and then they latch on with all 6 of their legs, and then they have these little hook things on their butt, and they grab onto the sting chamber, but instead of a sting, the thing opens up and allows for the endophallus to enter.
Right.
This all sounds familiar, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
You have at some point learned this.
At some point. Being
a bee enthusiast. And then endophallus, which is like an inverted vagina, becomes an exverted vagina. Did I say that right? Okay, they squeeze all of their hemolymph, which is the equivalent of insect blood. They squeeze all of their juices into the vagina so that it inverts or exverts and becomes like a penis. And they only get to do this once because by squeezing all of their juices into the endophallus, it's like losing all of your blood in your body, and then they just lose consciousness, and then they peel out, and just they faint, and then they
Brutal.
fall off and they die. But in doing so, because it was such a gush of fluids, it causes a mini explosion, and it causes the endophallus, to detach and stay inside the equivalent of a vagina. So,
Yeah, it's like an anglerfish, where the male becomes a little appendage,
no.
so you can keep a bag of sperm around
But okay, I guess so.
for later consumption.
I wonder if the male anglerfish retains like consciousness. Like, do they feel like their own individual being while they're attached and absorbed?
No idea.
Okay. Well, anyway, it's not like that. They just straight up die, and their endophallus stays in the queen. And she can do this with 5 to 19 drones. So I guess she could conceivably have 19 detached endophalli inside her. Gnarly. Okay. That's such a build up to this poem, which is like 2.5 stanzas long and really crappy. Okay. You read it,
Ooh.
since you're good at those things.
There she goes, virgin queen. After her, faster, she urges. So we pair. A flight, a game, a skyward chase. I mount, I place my sword, aflame, aright. Hang a bit, then end with a bang. Man,
So, this is my attempt to do what you do, which is like do those internal rhymes and palindromes and fancy stuff that the author of Stray Arts does. I forgot his name already.
place, a flame, aright, hang, bang, chase, game. Yeah, wow.
It's pretty short. It's nothing like Stray Arts, but my first attempt.
She's making reference to Stray Arts by Anthony Etherin.
Oh, that guy.
Good book. Filled with all kinds of just crazy formal poetry.
I recommend it. The book, not this.
Are drones haploid?
Yeah.
Just like living sperm,
Yeah.
basically.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
There's a whole lot of weird genetic politics among the hive. Something like so you can have worker females. I guess all the workers are females, but you can have egg-laying workers, and they're also diploid, just like the queen, but they don't have like that queen anatomy and pheromones and stuff. So they just make eggs when the queen can't keep up or something like that, or they make them regardless. And if there's extra, the other workers, the non-laying workers will just get rid of the extra eggs and be like, oh well, no, the queen's got it handled. And there's some animosity between the queen and the laying workers, and also among laying workers, because basically their kids are like clones of them. They're more genetically related than the queen's offspring, so they try to like have more kids than the queen, even though that's not their role in the hive. I don't know, whatever. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I suppose.
The newborn queens will eat into the cells and kill the rival queens that are not born yet.
Mm-hmm.
Everything bees do is violent, I feel.
Yeah, but afterward there's like a lot of cooperation and peace and stuff. So yeah, maybe should we adopt that model? Should we just like kill all the offenders and then afterward live in our little bubble of like-minded individuals?
It's an interesting question. I feel like they tolerate a lot of offenders. Like, I think a lot of the arguments going around now, I think, is that a lot of the parasites on bees eventually settle into some kind of
Homeostasis or equilibrium of
right.
like symbiosis or whatever.
Like they kill off a lot of bees, but then eventually they kind of adapt so that they can kind of tolerate living next to them.
Kind of like how. Oh wait, I was gonna make this such a like
Well, I mean,
like a political thing, but like kind of how like COVID-19 has become like a less life-threatening thing just because we just let it run its course. I mean, I don't think we let it, but some people did. Now it's not gonna necessarily kill you, but it's very contagious. And so you're saying that they might have settled for the more contagious mites as a way to prevent more deadlier mites from...
Yeah, well, let's not get into the whole mite thing, because
Okay.
that's a whole political thing on its own.
Wait,
That beekeepers hate
there's-
each other over this.
Whoa, beekeeper politics about mites?
Beekeeper politics about mites, that's
Whoa.
right. Mites are killing all the bees, friends. And beekeepers disagree about it.
Whoa, I had no idea.
That's right.
That's crazy. All right, it's your turn, and then I have a weird poem to finish it.
Well, so again, the thing I read before, I did not write that. That was Alex Gunther. Sonnets from the Dhammapada. This one is, I feel like it's kind of accidentally like your haikus, because it's in 2 little sections and it's pretty
Ooh.
short. All right. This is, I don't know if any of you out there have ever read the Volsung Saga. You don't need to, but this is a
The
reference
what?
to it. It's like a saga of the Volsungs. You never read the sagas?
The Vol
Like in
songs, like
school?
songs sung by voles.
No, that's just their name.
Okay.
Volsung.
Oh, it's like a family name.
Yeah. All the sagas are like so-and-so saga.
Okay.
You know, like the Smiths saga.
Okay,
but
okay, I
they
got
have
it, I
cooler
got it.
names than that.
Oh my god. Sorry.
When Sigurd breakfasted on dragon flesh, he eavesdropped on a birdsong prophecy, corrupted by the fortune it portrayed. This honeycomb's perfume proclaims afresh the meadowland of boyhood secrecy, its covenant the bees never betrayed. The end.
What? Can you do that again?
When Sigurd breakfasted on dragon flesh, he eavesdropped on a birdsong prophecy, corrupted by the fortune it portrayed. This honeycomb's perfume proclaims afresh the meadowland of boyhood secrecy, its covenant the bees never betrayed.
Is this some sort of really, really weird, deep innuendo for something I've seen?
Maybe.
What? Who's Sigurd?
Sigurd kills a dragon, and then
Eats it?
he's like, well, I heard, just because everyone knows, if you eat the heart of a dragon, you get magic powers, right?
Uh-huh.
So he's like, he's cooking the, oh no, there's a guy with him who says, okay, Sigurd, I'm going to help you kill this dragon, but I want to eat the heart because I want magic powers, right? And Sigurd's like...
Wait, he asks for half, or he wants the whole...
He wants the whole thing.
What?
Sigurd's like, okay, I'll cook you the dragon
What?
heart. Even though Sigurd did all the work. He
He serves him, like, the testicles instead. He's like, oh, that's
So
a heart? Okay,
well,
sorry.
he's cooking it on the
Okay.
fire.
Uh-huh.
He's like,
the
I
whole
wonder if
dragon.
it's, like, done yet. And he, like, tastes it. He puts his finger...
The heart?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he tastes it. And when he puts his finger in his mouth, in that moment, he gains the ability to understand
Oh, shit. It's like
a
the forbidden
bird
fruit.
song.
Oh.
So, and then he
Ooh.
hears behind him, there's 2 birds chatting on a limb, and they're like, you know, Sigurd really did all the work killing that dragon.
What?
I think he should just kill this other guy and take all the treasure. And so he does that. He just murders this other dude who
Holy
wanted
crap.
Yeah.
Is this Norse mythology, or...
Yeah.
Okay.
The sagas are more recent, but I'm sure they're based on older
No,
stuff.
I think I read that in 8th grade. I just forgot it until now. That sounds vaguely familiar. That's messed up, man.
It's messed up.
Sorry, how did this relate to bees? Let me read that second verse again. Oh my
It's like
god.
you smell the bees, you think of your childhood. And all that time the bees have been visiting that same place. And that's why the honey smells that way. Which is partially inspired by a book called A Gentleman in Moscow, where he decides not to kill himself because he tastes some honey and it smells like his childhood home.
Whoa.
But
Those
that
are
book's-
some...
I can't really endorse that book, but it's good.
Really
It's a good book.
obscure, far-reaching references.
Yeah, that's what we're all about here in poetry. Just inscrutable references.
Whoa. Oh, okay. Mine is much simpler.
Oh my goodness.
You ready for this poem?
I'm ready.
I'm gonna have you read it.
Oh no. The way you said that something is up. Oh god. Busy. Attention. I've something to say. I've exciting news to share, if I may. The flowers. I can't read.
Oh, that's what I said. My handwriting is not great.
What is it?
Flowers
Are right this way. Okay. I suppose I should reveal the conceit of this. So
man, it looks like a hamburger from zoomed out.
So this is a concrete poem where the trails in the background I assume are just the random bees going about their business that are busy. And then somebody is telling the other bees where the flowers are by walking in the waggle dance.
You're in the know.
Yeah.
And it is bold because this bee she has done this tract many times. Yep.
Yeah, I like it. This is the first concrete poem that we've had.
Yeah. So it's actually supposed to read in a figure eight conformation. So it was meant to be attacked from this orientation. I think the intention was for that to be the first legible word because we read right side up.
Sure.
So it should go, attention, I have something to say. The flowers are right this way. I have exciting news to share, if I may. The flowers are right this way. And then it loops in a figure eight.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I don't know, this is kind of subtle, but like the trail kind of, there's a little bit more density coming, the other way, coming out of it, because the direction of travel for the bee indicates that the flowers are that way. So there's a little bit more coming out that way. I think if I had spent a little bit more time writing background junk, then probably that would be more evident. Yeah. All right. The weird poem of the day. I guess that's it. Unless you have something to add.
Hoped we all learned something about bees today.
I mean, we could just keep talking about how weird bees are.
Bees are really weird.
Yeah. And how much of a privilege it is to be a mammal. We get to mate more than once. It's a huge plus. Praying mantises, they just get eaten afterward. Yeah. Anglerfish just get absorbed.
People like to say now, for some reason, that like, oh, it's like a myth that praying mantises get eaten. It's only a very small number of species, blah, blah, blah. And then you look it up, and it's like exactly the species you're thinking of when you think of a praying mantis. It's like, oh yeah, except for, praying mantises.
Right.
Scientists, they just love to be very particularly correct about things.
I mean, in terms of like number of species, yeah, I guess like praying mantises get praying mantis. Is it a Greek or a Latin word?
I have no idea.
Praying mantis. They get all the glory, but they are the most commonly bred ones, so I would say most male mantises, according to our human experience interaction with them, will get eaten by their female mates.
Yeah.
So practical.
Some of them have a nerve bundle which blocks them from ejaculating until their head is eaten. So they actually need to be eaten in order to reproduce.
I wonder if they enjoy it, if they like know that they're having the equivalent of an insect orgasm.
I mean, you got to think, right? I mean, why?
Otherwise, why would they do it, right? Unless there's like this schizophrenic, like, unless it's in their genes where they just hear voices that tell them that they want to get their head bitten off by a lady. Like, there's cake. All right. This is getting a little weird. Let's just end the stream. Good night, y'all.